Nice to see everyone here. Thank you for taking the time to be here on a Saturday. I'm sure everyone's pretty exhausted after a long day of talks. So I'll try to keep this one short and interesting. So my name is Jean Michel. I'm a regional sales manager for Asia Pacific for a cybersecurity company called Internettechies. We manufacture web vulnerability assessment software, and today I'm here to talk to you about Security ROI. Normally I'd have this long presentation planned out, about how awesome Kinetics is and what it can do, etc., yada yada yada. But I think today I'll make my point by telling you a bit of a story, a personal story, which might better help explain my experiences. So, story is this: in 2016, so about a year and a little bit ago, I launched a startup, and it was an e-commerce startup, which was a food delivery portal, very similar to Food Panda, right? So it's a website which users would visit. They would enter their location and be presented with a list of restaurants which would deliver food to them, and they could place their order on the site. Everything was going well. Everything was well planned, and we launched. Everything was great. Everyone was really excited, and about 2 weeks in, we received our first, or we encountered our first hacking experience, which kind of put a little bit of a stone in the works. So within the first 2 weeks, examples of hacking included creation of false orders. We had creation of false user accounts. We had user information deleted from our website database, which was quite unsettling, especially after working on a project for so long, and then to see everything, lie in the balance because of hacking was a scary thing. It's something I would have never predict at the time. So because of all of these fake orders and deletion of customer data and stuff like that, I had to deal with quite a few problems that I didn't expect. So I had angry customers calling me and explaining to me where their order was. I had angry restaurants calling me to tell me that they've got fake orders coming through their POS, and I didn't know how to deal with it at the time, nor did I have the resources. So as a result, the business basically lost a lot of its reputation, which resulted in a dramatic loss of revenue and many sleepless nights, which is something that's usually part and parcel with a cyber attack. In reality, when I look back now, even though the business failed as a result, I was hit, but I wasn't really hit that bad, right? In reality, it could have been a lot worse. So there could have been, my site could have been defaced, or users' credit card details could have been stolen. My site could have been used to host some sort of phishing scheme, or some form of malicious content. Things could have been really, really bad. And that's what kind of led me to Acunetics. Funnily enough, things worked out. Our parts aligned, and I ended up working as a regional sales manager. And then I started thinking a little bit. I started thinking, why do hackers do what they do, right? And it's pretty simple. It's usually follow the money trail, right? So hackers go where the money goes. So if you work in, own, operate, or run even a small business or even a large business, as long as you're processing some form of funds, some form of data, you're essentially a target. And that's something I realized the hard way, unfortunately. Most lessons I kind of learned that way. But yeah, so India is not very different. About 3 months back, I was in Bangalore and Delhi and Mumbai, and I gave a talk very similar to this. And a few examples which I cited, which are still very relevant today, was last year's hack, Union Bank. I believe it's 171 million US dollars that were stolen in July 2016. Also, there was a vulnerability, I believe it was in the Hitachi network system, in which quite a few different banks were involved. So there was ICIC, there was HDFC, Yes Bank, Axis, State Bank of India, Yes Bank, and collectively there were, I think it was something like 3.2 million credit card details. That's a lot of data. So besides the risk, the risk of all those details being divulged to the public and probably being sold off for Bitcoin somewhere, on the darknet. Imagine each company had to call up each customer and explain to them that their card details have been compromised and they need to essentially be issued a new card. Can you imagine what an embarrassing experience that must have been? Especially when you have to repeat the process 3.2 million times. It's a lot of hassle. So to give you some other examples, just last month there was a data center in South Korea, I believe. The name of the data center was Naya. Sorry, I always have some trouble pronouncing this. Nayana, and they were subject to a cyber attack that exploited a vulnerability in Apache and PHP. So super common technologies that are used pretty much everywhere. They were held ransom for $4.4 million. Luckily, they negotiated it down to $1 million, but hey, still, it's $1 million, right? So they ended up paying $1 million, and if you go on their site right now, it's Nayana, it's nayana.co.kr. You'll see a defaced site, and they admitted to being subject to attack. Again, I mean, it's not like it's their fault, really. Hackers are going to be there until the end of the internet. They've been there from the beginning, and they're not going anywhere. In my experience, the problem is more like people only really consider security when it's too late, which is the same mistake I made. No one's guilty. It's just human nature. In any security industry, whether we're talking about cybersecurity or talking about home security or anything related to security, even marine, security sales have a consistent spike after each worldwide event. So whenever there's a large hack in the IT security space, there's always a large spike in sales. It's just how the industry works. I'm here to speak to you guys to prevent you from being part of that spike and rather preemptively think about your security strategy to avoid a situation like this before things get too bad and you have to deal with all that. So you can get yourself secured as far as Akinetics goes for literally a fraction of the price. In some cases, it's an amount which can even be allocated to petty cash, kind of thing, depending on how large your organization is. But obviously, Akinetics, like any other security tool, is not one piece of software solves everything kind of thing. Security is a layered solution. So let me just explain a little bit to you how Akinetics works. We've got a database of over 3,400 different vulnerabilities, and what the software does is automatically attempts to penetrate your website. Where it's successful, it'll let you know, and it'll let you know how serious that vulnerability is and how to fix it. So it's essentially a tool to give you some form of perspective, an automated tool. We've been doing this, guys, since I believe 2004, so we're one of the earliest players in the industry. India is also quite an export market. So to give you an idea on clientele, we've got, for example, this KPMG, Tata, GFSU, Bosch, Spark, Navitas, Praviti, SRL, ISRO, the State Bank of India. The list kind of goes on and on, which, it's so nice kind of mentioning these large names and stuff like that. Maybe some of you come from these companies, maybe some of you don't. I think what's important to understand is that security is something you need to treat a little bit like a bull. If you don't grab it by the horns in time, it's gonna get violent. So it's up to you guys to take the preemptive action towards security, and understand that yes, security is an investment, but if you weigh out the risk reward, it's really a no-brainer. It just is. So yeah, that's more or less, guys, what I wanted to bring to the table today. I could have with some long explanation about what we do, yada yada, etc. I'm sure you've all heard enough of high-level explanations, and you're probably sick of all that by now. But yeah, I hope my story was somewhat insightful, and I hope that the advice will be needed. Just in case there's any questions, I'll got a bit of time for one or two. Okay, I'll take that as a no. Everyone seems pretty tired. It's Saturday after all, guys. So don't feel too bad. Anywho, for any further inquiries, please do speak with Harish or Vignesh, and they can definitely provide you with some more information. And just one last reminder, even though I'm here to sell and spread the Akinetics word, it's not the one solution solves all kind of things. Like I said, security is a layered solution, and something you treat with in that sort of respect. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day. Cheers.